What's up guys, Darkdally here, playing Ghost Recon Wildlands, and today let's have a look at DMRs. Their role in Wildlands and in the upcoming game Breakpoint, and most importantly, how they perform in real life compared to how these two games, or games in general, portray them. Alright, so the DMR, or the Designated Marksman Rifle, was brought in as basically a squad support weapon to lay down suppressing fire so that infantry could, move in on a position. They're not sniper rifles, though they do have the long barrels and they have scopes. The concept is not one of precision per se, but of a general accuracy over range. Your average infantry rifle, like say, one of the rifles that fire the popular 5.56 round, those rounds, they travel fast and they have good ballistics, but honestly, because of their lightweight and the lightweight of the round, they generally may start tumbling at about 800 meters or so, and they just become useless. The DMR, like what I'm testing here, is built around usually over 30 caliber in mind and a long barrel to put fire further down range. Now, there are a couple of drawbacks to that, as well as misconceptions. Okay, so one thing that needs to be addressed is that in Wildlands, the game you're seeing right now, they're grouped with sniper rifles. In the upcoming game Breakpoint, they are two separate categories. In Ghost Recon Breakpoint, we will have DMRs and we will have sniper rifles, and they are different categories. Thank you, Ubisoft, for consulting with some military guys and getting that sorted out and listening to the community. Now, there are a few other things here I want to address. And the first is magazine size. In Wildlands, you expect a 20-round magazine on your DMR, like say your Dragunov, your G28, or your SR25. The reality, and I can see at least, this much for the Dragunov, is that in real life, the magazines are only 10 rounds, and here's why. These rifles have a high rate of fire. That's something I'll address here in a minute. And because of their long, thin barrels combined with powerful gas systems, they generate a lot of heat. After only 10 rounds, trust me, a Dragunov's barrel is so hot you wouldn't want to touch it. And conversely, I can and have run 3 successive 30-round mags through one of my AR-15s, and the handguard was only barely warm. Okay, so here we get into a bit of the wicket. The AR-15, for instance, was designed as an infantry weapon, was something that was, used to demand only fire at basically 500 meters and closer. Mine, for instance, has an all-metal free-floating handguard, and it can just chew through ammo with basically no effect. Okay, so back to the DMR. Here we're talking generally the 7.62 NATO, aka the 308 round. The power behind this generally dwarfs your typical rifle, like I was just talking about. And although they make these things with barrels as short as anything else for the civilian market, in the military, they're designed for long range and precision with a balance towards field ruggedness. They get hot. Now that said, I've seen barrels get beyond red hot. I've seen barrels get beyond white hot. I've seen barrels, in the case of one certain LMG, it was so hot it was transparent and you could literally see the bullets going through it. But that's also why they have interchangeable barrels. Okay, let's get back to the point here. So let's talk about the DMR as a weapon class and how it's represented in Ghost Recon. Okay, so in Wildlands, they were for the most part clumped in with the snipers, and there were basically 4 of them. We'll just say that without getting it too complicated, okay? There was the G28, the Mark 14, which fired very fast and did less damage, and then there was the Dragunov and the SR25, which had a much slower rate of fire but did more damage. That was for the game, okay? That was not representative of how they are in real life. All of these weapons in real life basically fire the same round, being the 308. Now, that's except for the Dragunov, which fires the Warsaw Pact version of the round, which is basically, it's the same thing, it's just 3 millimeters longer, right? Now, this troubled me a bit. Why would an SR25 or a Dragunov fire slower than something like a G28? I can assure you, they do not. They fire the same rate of fire. They are serious trouble on the ground. Here, I'm going to show you, in this clip here, as well as I may have threw out some of this video already. This is me in actual gear with live ammo, real weapons, with a pack loaded as a Ghost would have it in the field. I assure you, in my pack I'm wearing, which weighs probably about 30 pounds thereabouts, I have food rations, tools, etc., cold weather gear. I'm 100% geared like an operator would be on the ground. It's as realistic as I can be. And in this clip, I fired 7 rounds from a Dragunov in less than 2 seconds. So the rate of fire is obviously portrayed incorrectly. It's kind of like the whole point of this. How video games don't show this quite correctly, but that's cool. There's something behind that, and we're going to get into that. So the rate of fire is obviously portrayed incorrectly. And from my experience, even more so in Breakpoint. When I got my hands on Breakpoint and I picked up the SVD, I almost felt like I was waiting for each shot. The rate of fire is so slow. And it really is. It fires very slow. Now, is this a bad thing? Okay, so here I am comparing real life, DMRs in real life to how they are in Ghost Recon, a franchise which I truly love. And they're simply not portrayed correctly. Is it a bad thing? Not necessarily, okay? It's just that it's inaccurate. But this is a video game. I realize they need different levels of balance to make things interesting and help influence our choice of rifles, right? I mean, if they were all the same, then why would you use anything? How would you even choose if they all were exactly the same? That wouldn't be interesting. Now, all that said, in real life, things work different, but real life doesn't really guarantee a fun playing experience. This is where real life meets fantasy, and this is what a DMR really is at its core. Now, you guys know I'm a huge fan of the Ghost Recon franchise, and that's why I make these videos, but I also wanted to go out of my way, from a place of love, and show some of the real life aspects of these mechanics. I do hope to do some more videos like this in the future. I do hope to bring about, real weapon discussion, as I am a tester of rifles in a game. And I'd also like to look a bit more into how they perform in real life. And I hope you guys enjoy it, because we have a lot more real life Ghost Recon testing to do for you guys. I have a lot more stuff like this planned in the future. And I think stuff like this actually enriches the game. This is not me showing that their DMRs are portrayed inaccurately per se. This is me saying, here's how a weapon works in real life. Here's how it works in the game. This is only a video game. But maybe, just maybe, actually right here, guys, I'm off script and I'm have a bit of a loss for words. I will say that I encourage people to get real life experience, and I would encourage that via the military, things like that, avenues like that. I think games like this put that feeling into people, and I think it's a good thing. These games are not violent. These games are accurate to a sense of patriotism that a lot of people should possibly strive for and try to achieve. And okay, that was me totally off script right there, But I think about that. I can't help but think about this when I compare real weapons to a video game. As they're not misrepresenting anything per se, they're adapting it to a video game. And I don't want you guys to grow up with one idea of weapons in mind when there's something else in real life. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope that I was able to bring you something interesting here today, as I've brought you myself. I'm not, nor was I ever, in any kind of special forces. But the gear you see me wearing in these videos is 100% what it is. And I plan to recreate more Ghost Recon kind of scenarios in real life. I like to get your guys' feedback on it, see how it works for you guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Darkdally, and I will catch you guys next time. That's all I needed.